Krishna Prabhu, Sarvadrk Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
My humble obeisances to not know Prabhupada and Guranga. Thank you very much. How are you feeling, Prabhu? You're okay? Your screen seems to freeze.
Is everything okay now?
Yes. Begin with the disciple in so many places, residing my approach for so many years. So let's hear today this important, most important Gita. Thank you, Hare Krishna. You can begin, Prabhu.
Oh, okay.
Yes, thank you.
Let me first begin by offering my respectful obeisances. The lotus feet of my spiritual master, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitina, Namaste Saraswati, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Chandava, Vastacha He Guru Jnanada Dina Bandho Sanandadata Kuranai Krisindho Vrindavanasina Hitavataram Prasidara Vande Rupa Sanatana Jiva Gopala Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Vanchako Pratibhista Kripa Sindhubheva Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. So Prabhuji has requested that I speak today on a famous verse from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, probably the most famous verse in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, text 66. I'll read that verse and Srila Prabhupada's informative report. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tam sarva papebhyo mokshayisyami ma suchaha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Lord has described various kinds of knowledge and processes of religion. Knowledge of the Supreme Brahman, knowledge of the Super Soul, knowledge of the different types of orders and statuses of social life, knowledge of the renounced order, knowledge of non-attachment, sense and mind control, meditation, etc. He has described in so many ways different types of religion. Now, in summarizing Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that Arjuna should give up all these processes that have been explained to him. He should simply surrender to Krishna. That surrender will save him from all kinds of sinful reactions, for the Lord personally promises to protect him. In the 7th chapter, it was said that only one who has become free from all sinful reactions can take to the worship of Lord Krishna. Thus one may think that unless he is free from all sinful reactions, he cannot take to the surrendering process. To such doubts, it is here said that even if one is not free from all sinful reactions, simply by the process of surrendering to Sri Krishna, he is automatically free. There is no need of strenuous effort to free oneself from sinful reactions. One should unhesitatingly accept Krishna as the supreme savior of all living entities. With faith and love, one should surrender unto him. The process of surrender to Krishna is described in Hari Bhakti Vilas, chapter 11, verse 676. Anukulasya sankalpa Pratikulyasya varjanam rakshishyatiti vishvaso guptrite varanam tata atma nikshepa karpanye sadvidha sharanagati. According to the devotional process, one should simply accept such religious principles that will lead ultimately to the devotional service of the Lord. One may perform a particular occupational duty according to his position in the social order, but if by executing his duty one does not come to the point of Krishna consciousness, all of his activities are in vain. Anything that does not lead to the perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness should be avoided. One should be confident that in all circumstances, Krishna will protect him from all difficulties. There is no need of thinking how one should keep the body and soul together. Krishna will see to that. One should always think himself helpless and should surrender and should consider Krishna the only basis for his progress in life. As soon as one seriously engages himself in the devotional service of the Lord, in full Krishna consciousness, at once he becomes freed from all contamination of material nature. There are different processes of religion and purificatory processes by cultivation of knowledge, meditation, and the mystic yoga system, etc. But one who surrenders unto Krishna does not have to execute so many methods. That simple surrender unto Krishna will save him from unnecessarily wasting time. One can thus make all progress at once and be free from all sinful reactions. One should be attracted by the beautiful vision of Krishna. His name is Krishna because he is all attractive. One who becomes attracted by the beautiful, all-powerful, omnipotent vision of Krishna is fortunate. There are different kinds of transcendentalists. Some of them are attached to the impersonal Brahman vision. Some of them are attracted to the supersoul feature, etc. But one who is attracted to the personal feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and above all, one who is attracted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Krishna himself, is the most perfect transcendentalist. In other words, devotional service to Krishna in full consciousness is the most confidential part of knowledge. And this is the essence of the whole Bhagavad Gita. Karma yogis, empiric philosophers, mystics and devotees are all called transcendentalists. The one who is a pure devotee is the best of all. The particular words used here, ma suchaha, don't fear, don't hesitate, don't worry, are very significant. One may be perplexed as to how one can give up all kinds of religious forms and simply surrender unto Krishna, but such worry is useless. So this is perhaps the most important verse in Bhagavad Gita, because what is the question of devotion to God without surrender? It's all a show, it's just a show. And we see that in many religious societies and to some extent in our own, unhappily. One can put a tilak, a kantimala, put on a sari, a dhoti, and live a life that is completely unsurrendered to the Supreme Personality of God and Krishna. Surrender is from the heart. We surrender our body in many ways also. We have basic rules of morality that Srila Prabhupada instructed us to follow. No illicit sex, no gambling, intoxication, meat eating. That's one thing. We surrender our body, and that's required. Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport, Yeshamantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam hidvanda mohanir mukta bhajanti mam vridavrata. If you want to worship Krishna with vridavrata, a fixed vow, an unbreakable vow, the requirement is, few things are mentioned. First thing, antagatam papam, to become free from sinful life. Sinful life, which means basically materialistic life, and spiritual life go ill together. If you're trying to build a fire, for example, how much progress can you expect to make if you're pouring water at the same time? They're opposite. The fire can never flourish in the presence of water. So similarly, in the prosecution of our spiritual life, we have to avoid these four things, the essence of materialistic activities that, frankly, the whole world is addicted to. This is the essence of their life. They live for these things. Work hard, and when the fruits of their labor, go out and enjoy senses. This is fruitless life, wasted life, animal life. So antagatam papam, one has to come to the end of sinful life. Jananam punya karmanam. One should have some stock of purva punya, sukriti, to even be attracted to the conception of spirituality. We've distributed literally millions of books, 260 million pieces of literature. Where's the devotees? It's rare, it's a very rare thing that a person takes up the process of Krishna Bhakti. Shravanam Kirtana Vishnu Smaranam Parasevanam Archanam Bandhanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmana Vedanam Navavida Bhakti. It's rare that a person takes it up with seriousness, because people simply don't have much stock of punya. We say that every day, isn't it? When we honor prasadam. Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Swalpa Pandivatam Rajan Vishvaso Naiva Jayate. But why don't people have faith? Why do they think a devotee, a Brahmin, is just some guy with a thread on his shoulder? A Vaishnava is just some fanatical guy? Mahaprasad is just some cut up fruit. Anyone can cut up fruit. That's what do you mean, Mahaprasad? It's all bogus. This is their vision and holy name. Why are you singing this song so much? Over and over again, same song. Don't you get tired? Why do they feel like this? Swalpa punyavatam rajan. O king, they have no good punya. They have no background, no stock, no account of punya. Sukriti. So this is also jananam punya karmanam. They also have to have some stock, some previous exposure to Krishna consciousness, or to be the recipient of special mercy of the Lord and Lord's pure devotee. Te dvandva moha nirmukta, one should be free from the dualities of life, happiness and distress, honor and dishonor, poverty and wealth, disease and health, hot and cold. The world is full of dualities. And if we spend our life chasing those what we consider to be positive things, trying to avoid the negative things, we've wasted our life. The dualities of life are there unavoidably, because this is the nature of the world. Krishna said, Dvandva mohena bharata. Icha dvesha samotena dvandva mohena bharata. And we become confused by the dualities of life. Oh, it's too hot, turn on the AC. Oh, now it's too cold, turn up the heat. And Prabhu asked the devotees one time, he pointed to the fan on the ceiling that was running. He said, why is there a fan? And the devotee said, well, Srila Prabhupada, it's hot outside. No, why is there a fan? Devotees couldn't understand. Finally, Srila Prabhupada revealed, there is a fan because this is a miserable world of duality. We can't avoid the dualities of material life. Sometimes too hot, sometimes too cold, sometimes we're flush with cash, sometimes we're pinching pennies. Sometimes people praise us, sometimes people defame us. That is the nature of this material world. And to make progress in spiritual life, Lord is saying in this verse, Te dvandva moha nirmukta, to become free from the illusion of dvandva, of duality. Trying to chase those things we consider to be very positive and avoid those things we consider to be negative. It's the same thing. It's a two-sided coin. You want to pick up one, you must accept the other. Because we want material happiness, we must accept, we're obliged to accept material distress. This is the nature of the world. We can't avoid it. But illusion, why? Because it's all based on sense perception. We feel cold, we feel hot. What is it? What relationship does that have with the Atma, the soul, our real self? Nothing. So Dvanda Mohina, to become free from the dualities of life, Dvanda Mohina Bhajante Mam, Drindavrata, you want to worship Krishna, Bhajante Mam, Krishna is saying, be free from these things. So they're precursors. The verse previous to this important verse, Manmana Bhava Madbhakto, Madhyaji Mam Namaskura Mami Vashasi Satyam Te Pratijani Priyosi Me. Krishna says, you're very dear to me. And he's speaking to Arjuna, but he's speaking to each and every one of us individually. His soul, especially a person who comes to surrender to Krishna, to try his level best to become a devotee. Priyosime. He's very dear to Krishna. So this is the essential, this is restated. Krishna said same thing in the most essential verse in his chapter in Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter. He's being restated here in the 18th chapter. That this is the most confidential knowledge. Think of me, Manmana, Bhava Madbhaktu, become my devotee. Namaskuru, bow down to me, offer your obeisances. Madhyaji, worship me. I'm telling you this, why? Because you're very dear to me. I'm giving you this confidential knowledge because you're very dear to me. But if we want to actually accept those principles, what's required? This verse, we have to surrender. And the conditioned soul doesn't like this word surrender. One foolish poet wrote a poem called, I'm forgetting the name of the poem. Anyway, he wrote, it matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the soul. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. In other words, this is atheistic view of life, atheistic paradigm. That I'm in charge, I'm the boss, do what I say, listen to me, I'm important, I'm in control. This is all illusion. How much control do we actually have? Not very much. I have a cold flu that I decide, okay, yeah, why not? I need to get a flu. Oh, this is no fun. This coughing, spitting, this is no fun. Okay, I'll stop. Can you stop? You can't stop. We can't stop the onslaught. Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, birth, death, old age, and disease. Who is in control? Modes of nature. Nahi kaschit chanamapi jatu tishtatu karma krit karyate yavasha karma. Sarva prakritir jayar gunai prakriti. We've surrendered our independence to prakriti. We've come under the control of prakriti. We're being whipped by the modes of material nature. What is the solution? How do we approach? What makes it possible to approach Manmana Bhava Madbhakto? Sarvadrk parityaja. Surrender. We have to surrender to Krishna. Mamekam sharanam. That not to this one, that one, the other one, not to your job and finding a sense of security in money, not finding a sense of security in your social position, your intellectual position, your bank balance, your family. Only with Krishna. All these other things cannot help you at the time of death. So Krishnas are demigods. Some people think, oh, if I can worship Ganesh, I'll get lots of money. Saraswati, I'll get a big degree. These things cannot help you at the time of death. Nothing. Who is your friend at the time of death? Saraswati? Ganesh? Impossible. Krishna is our only friend at the time of death. Guru is our only friend at the time of death. There's a nice story, beautiful story. One of my godbrothers, unfortunately, fell into Maya, became very enamored with a non-devotee girl. They got married. And in course of time, why? A satsanga tyaga. Devotee means give up a satsanga. He embraced the satsanga in the form of this non-devotee girl and lost all relationship with spiritual life, all spiritual principles. He just left everything, became a regular meat-eating non-devotee. Karmi, as we say. In midlife, he contracted terminal cancer. At his deathbed, his wife was standing there. His children were standing there. His wife's parents were standing there also. What were his last words? Prabhupada, Prabhupada. His wife's parents asked their daughter, what was that all about? Oh, he was a Hare Krishna before we got married. Prabhupada was there for him at the time of his death. Now the devotee, same thing. Somehow or other, although he did amazing service, he opened temples in Eastern Europe, distributed books, got books translated, made devotees, did amazing service. Somehow, by the force of his offense or karma, whatever it was, he completely fell away from Krishna consciousness. There was no devotee present at the time of his death, but the nurse in attendance told the story that he sat up in bed, looked at the door and said, Srila Prabhupada, you've come for me. He laid back down in his bed and died. Srila Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can never forget that this person has served our mission. You've served the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Prabhupada can never forget. So surrender is a process. Don't think, well, yesterday I wasn't surrendered, and today, from today, I will surrender. It can be like that. It's possible. Probably someone asked him about this. This is a famous video clip, Prabhupada speaking in Australia. How long does it take to surrender? Prabhupada said, in a moment, one can surrender. But typically, it's a process that takes time. For example, if you want to grow mango tree, New Jersey, not possible. But in Florida, Texas, some places in southern Texas, you can grow a mango tree. So you put the seed in the ground, you water it, you fence it off, you give it fertilizer, you give it good sunshine. In due course of time, that seed sprouts and a mango tree comes. But can you demand, now I want mango? You have to be patient. Utsahan nischayat dharyat. Want us to be patient in the execution of devotional life to get the fruit of our labor. So surrender, typically for most devotees, is a process. That requires time. But what else is there to do? What else is there to do? Take up the process of surrendering to Krishna, giving up false ego, abhiman, ahankar. I am this body, I'm important, I'm special, I'm the boss, I'm in charge, I'm the enjoyer. This is all illusion. And it blocks our progress in spiritual life. You should understand, I'm the das. I'm not the boss, I'm the das. So this is a process of surrender. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport, important verse from Hari Bhakti Vilas. I think it also appears in Vishnu Puran, originally, I think. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam rakshishiti iti vishvasam goptatve varanam tata atmanikshepa karpanye sadvidam sharanagati. Sharanagati is a process, is what we're doing. This process that we call sadhana is the process of sharanagati, the process of surrender. 6 things are mentioned. First, anukulyasya sankalpa. To accept anything that is favorable for our devotional life. For example, someone may say, and there's many Shastric references also that say that marriage, it's a deep, dark well, and you fall in the well and no one will hear you, and you die in the deep, dark well of grihastha. Okay. It can be a deep, dark well, or it can be a great asset to your progress in spiritual life. It is what you make it. It is what you make it. They say that Women are like fire, and man is like butter. And you put butter and fire together, and the ghee, the butter melts. But something wonderful comes from butter and fire, and that is ghee. So in Grihastha ashram, by the combination of devotee man, devotee woman, many wonderful things come. Support of the whole institution of Varnashram. The whole institution of Varnashram rests on the shoulders of Grihastha ashram. It's the most important ashram. Because brahmachari sannyasi, they're not supposed to be working. They have no income. They're supported by the grihasthas. Vanaprastha also supported by the grihastha. They're working, creating income, generating population, they're having babies. Next generation of devotees, such an important thing. These inestimable contributions to society are coming from Grihastha ashram. So it is what you make it. If you accept Grihastha ashram in the mood of devotion, this is an asset. We accept what's favorable for our progress in spiritual life. Better to be a Grihastha that has some feeling for his wife and family than a brahmachari gritting his teeth, thinking about women, thinking, I wish I could have this, but I can't, and they're frustrated and envious and angry. You'll never make progress. Brahmachari life is for a person who has no attraction. He doesn't hate women. He doesn't hate babies and the concept of family life. He's not interested. This is real brahmachari. Same for sannyas. We can't be pretenders. One should be honest and accept that place in society where he makes progress. This is anukulyasya sankalpa. Sankalpa means acceptance. Pratikulyasya varjanam. And to completely reject anything that hinders devotional service. Varjanam means complete rejection. So conversely, if a person has aversion to family life, or if, actually it's not a good example. If we have these principles we follow, we completely reject certain things in life. We reject animal slaughter because it's brutal. It's insa, violent. We don't need violence to maintain our body. You don't need blood and screaming animals and gore and slaughterhouses and horrible, ghastly scene just to maintain our body. It's completely unnecessary. So we completely reject varjanam, animal slaughter. We reject intoxication because we're intoxicated. Prabhupada said, you're intoxicated enough. They asked Prabhupada about this pan, betel nut, and pan leaf. Probably it's very mild. They said, you're already intoxicated enough, leave it. Tea, coffee, caffeine. It's not heavy duty intoxication like heroin, cocaine, LSD, all these, and so many, and now synthetic drugs that are so dangerous, people are dying, fentanyl. President Trump described that drug abuse in America is a national emergency. So these things, varjanam, we reject. Because they're an obstacle, they block our progress in spiritual life. They block us from achieving the most wonderful, satisfying relationship with God. And we have to choose. We have to choose these things, what you want in life. So particularly, yasya varjanam, rakshishititi vishvaso. Vishwas means faith. We should have complete faith that Krishna will maintain us. Srivas Thakur was asked by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu once, that I see you have big family, Srivas. How are you maintaining it? I see you're also not working. He said, I clapped my hands 3 times. That if there, at the first clap, there's no food, then I tolerate. Next day, and I clap my hands, there's no food again, I tolerate. But on the 3rd day, if there's no food, I will simply drown myself in the Ganga. Vishwas, he had such unshakable faith that I am maintained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Our disease is that we think I'm maintained by my paycheck. My boss is maintaining me. My work is maintaining me. No. We're maintained by Krishna. We should have that vision in our life that, okay, I'm working, but where do I get the energy to work? Where do I get the intellectual capacity to do my job? The energy to do my job? From Krishna. We should have that faith and that vision that I am dependent on the Lord. And as it says here, Goptritve Varanam Tata. Goptritve means like maintain like an animal, like a guardian, a husband, a father is the guardian of their children. So we should feel I'm maintained, I'm protected by Krishna. I have that vishwas, and this allows us to surrender. Just like when Mrigari, the hunter, was approached by Narada Muni. And he said, Mrigari, I see that you're slaughtering animals half dead. Why are you doing this horrible thing? See them writhing in pain? No, I'm a hunter. This is my business. My father showed me to do like this. I also do like this. Narada Muni convinced him to become Vaishnava. He said, throw away your bow. He said, well, how will I maintain myself? This is my income. I kill these animals. I take their skins. I sell the skins. I sell the flesh. I maintain my life by killing these animals. Narada said, throw away your bow. In our life, we have to have that consciousness of throwing away the bow, that I am maintained by the grace of God and no other reason. This is how we make progress. We should have that unshakable faith. Vishwas, I am maintained by Krishna. Goptritve means like an animal. If you don't feed the animal, he dies. Cows are in a barn. They're all locked up in the barn. If you don't give them food, in due course of time, they die. So we should feel I'm the dasa. I'm the dog, like Prabhu said. What is this? Kantimala? Dog color. We should feel like I'm the dog of Krishna. And maintained by the grace of God. And this is surrender, which means we're happy with whatever Krishna gives us. We're not always, we give up the whole mentality of hankering after more and more and more and never satisfied. Krishna says, Kamarupena konteya dushparena analayana cha. That lust to have more and more and more burns like fire and is never satisfied. You can't extinguish a fire by supplying fuel to it. And we can't extinguish the fire of lust in our heart by supplying more and more fuel, more and more gadgets, more and more things, more and more money, more and more respect, position, social influence, all these things that enamor us about the material world. They're all useless, completely useless, unless they're used in Christian service. We're not afraid of money. Why? Because we know what to do with it. We want more for Krishna service, not for our false ego, for our prestige, to show people I drive a more expensive car. I'm wearing gold jewelry. My wife is like this. My house is like this. Big flat screen TV, cell phone, blah, 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 blah. An endless stream of things to show off to society your prosperity. This is illusion. Can it help you at the time of death? It cannot. Money is good if it's used in Krishna service. Otherwise, we're like Ravana. Lakshmi is for who? Ram, Narayan. Lakshmi is for Narayan. But if we become like Ravana, trying to keep Lakshmi for ourselves, then we're in difficulty. Because money is always a problem. If you don't have money, that's a big problem. How will you pay your bills? How will you eat? How will you keep the lights on in your house? The water, the food in the refrigerator. No money is a big problem. And when you have money, and your consciousness is always gravitating, my money, my money. How will I keep it? The thieves want to take it. The government wants to take it. My family wants to take it. Everybody wants my money. How will I keep my money, my money, my money? What is the solution? Say, this is Krishna's money. It's not yours. Ishavasamidam sarvam jatkinsha jagatam jagat tena chaktena bunjita magvida hakasya svidanam. Everything animate and inanimate is controlled and owned by the Supreme Lord. And He is giving us whatever we need. Tena chaktena bunjita. He's supplying all the necessities of life by His kindness, by His love. For the jiva soul is entangled in the material world. Even the atheist has his food, has his home. They deny the burglar, the rapist, the murderer, the bank robber. They have their food, they have their home, supplied by Krishna. Will the devotee not be taken care of by Krishna? Of course he will. We have to have that consciousness. Goptrate varanamta, rikshashititi vishva. Have this faith. And Atma Shepa, this is total surrender, complete surrender. And this is what Krishna is asking of us. Without this, the previous verse, Manmana Bhava Bhakto Majachimam, the previous verse is like a flower in the sky. Flowers don't grow in the sky. Prakash Pushpa. Or they say in Bengal, Godadim. Horses don't lay eggs. It's an impossibility. It's a phantasmagoria. A horse doesn't lay an egg. Flowers don't grow in the sky. And there's no meaning for manmana without surrender. This is the very definition of surrender. How do we surrender? This is the process. Think of Krishna. Manmana bhava madbhakto, become His devotee. Worship Him. Bow down to Him. This is the process of surrender also that we undertake every day. We should think of Krishna. For example, during our japa, every day we have this opportunity where we drag our mind back to Krishna. Where it says in the 6th chapter, Bhagavad Gita, Jnana Yoga, Yato yato nischalati, manas chanchalamastinam tatastato nayam yaitat atmaneva ashamnaya. Whatever and wherever your mind goes, to its restless and flickering nature, one should drag it back under control of the self. This is japa. We sit down to chant, and our mind is like an infant child who is crying, no, I don't want to. Mind wants to go anywhere and ever. Chanchalam himana Krishna pramati balavadudham tasyaham nigraham manye vayar eva sudushkaram. Sudushkaram, very difficult to control, very obstinate. This is the mind. So what do we do every day? We drag the mind back to Krishna here. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. And remember the all beautiful, all merciful, all powerful, Supreme Personality of Godhead and His beautiful Nam, Gun, Rup, Parikar, His associates, His beauty, His power, His mercy, His form, His all-attractive form. This is japa. Not just making some sound from your mouth, making the air move from your mouth and pulling down beads. We have to bring our mind to Krishna, manmana. This is the process of bhava mad bhakto, becoming His devotee. Who can think of Krishna? Only devotee. And in the beginning, it's a little artificial because we have to drag our mind. We have to fight with our mind. As we make progress in devotional life, as we approach ruchi and rati, we're getting such a taste from Krishna. Krishna's holy name, Krishna's remembrance, Krishna's beauty, His mercy, His form. You don't have to drag our mind. Our mind is gravitating towards Krishna. Then we can know we're making progress in spiritual life. But before that happens, we have this duality. Our mind wants to do one thing, and we know we should drag it to Krishna. So there's a struggle that goes on every morning. We sit down to chant japa. And without that struggle, you're not chanting japa. You're moving your mouth, making some sound. Sometimes you hear devotees, this is not japa. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Prabhupada writes in one purport, japa isn't just making some hissing sound with your mouth. Japa means pronouncing Krishna's name, remembering Krishna, and bringing your mind to participate in japa. Japa is a mental exercise. It's not a physical exercise. Just moving beads, pulling beads down, moving beads, pulling beads. This is manmana. Bhava mad bhakta, become his devotee. Real devotee. Not Haribol Prabhu devotee, Gulab Jamun devotee. We have to surrender. And surrender means, first thing, understand what is our position in this world. Like you go to the store and you pick up a gallon of milk. What is written on the side? Expiration date. Date of packing, date of expiration. What is our date of packing? Our birthday, the day we were unpacked from our mother's womb. This is our packing date. And expiration date is also there. Everyone has an expiration date. Meditate on this. This isn't just being morose and depressive in a thinking process. This is fact of life. The fact of life is that we have to face death. We cannot stay here. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. And this is surrender, understanding the facts of life. What is this world? Death for a devotee is rebirth into Krishna Bhakti, into a better spiritual position, or ultimate spiritual position. Yagattvana nivartante yadama paramamama. Because there is another world. Parastasmatu bhavanyo vyakta vyakta sanatana yasya sarveshu bhuteshu madbhakti. Madbhaktim labate param. That there is another world, and we can go there. This is surrender, to have this objective in mind. I'm not interested to stay here. I want to leave and go back to Krishna. If we don't have that feeling, what are we doing? We're not practicing sadhana. We're doing something. Maybe you're building your sukriti balance, but you're not practicing sadhana. If you don't have an objective, this is our objective. Not to stay here happily in the material world. Our objective is to leave this world and tyaktva deham punarjanma, never come back, ever. And leave the world, not to live here happily. Make a little nest like the animals do. Srila Prabhupada was walking with the devotees one morning along the footpath. There was an overhead branch, and the birds had made a nest there. So naturally, underneath the nest, there's a pile of bird poop. Prabhupada stopped and asked the devotees, what does this mean? The devotee said, well, Prabhupada, it's bird poop. No, what does it mean? Think. They said, well, there's birds up there, Prabhupada. No, think deeply, go deeply. They couldn't understand. Prabhupada said, even the animals, the birds, even the animals are attached to family life. Mommy bird and daddy bird go out and gather sticks, and mommy bird and daddy bird make a nest, and mommy bird and daddy bird copulate and make babies. This is not different from what human beings do. And if human beings don't live a life beyond what the animals do, they're no better than an animal. We have to keep these things in mind. What is the objective of your life? If you don't understand the objective, how will you get there? How will you get there? Do you ever get in your car and just like start driving around? Well, like wherever I end up is cool. You may drive off a cliff. Especially some of these GPS directions are so crazy. You may end up going off a cliff following GPS. We have to understand the objective. Bhavamad Bhakto. This is the objective, to become heart and soul surrendered devotee of the Lord. And that is the process of our sadhana. Rising early, reading Prabhupada's books, even a little bit every day. Grihastha life is also a life. It's very busy. There's not much time. But every day, read something from Prabhupada's books. Rise early. If some devotees have a weird schedule, they get home at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, midnight sometimes. Okay, if you get home at midnight, get to bed at midnight, you're not going to jump out of bed at 4 in the morning. But regulate your life. so that you rise as early as possible. You worship your deity. You chant the holy name. You read Prabhupada's books. And you don't neglect the real substance of our life. Going to work and making money is not the real substance of life. It's not surrender. Surrender is this. Bhava mad bhakto, becoming devotee. Madhyaji. Madhyaji means worship me. We should worship Krishna. And there's many processes to do so. Yajna, Avankun, Agnihotra is worship, but you'll never get prema. It's worship, it's nice, auspicious, but it won't give you prema. Worship of the deity in the temple or worship in the deity in your home. Also, maybe you'll get prema, maybe not. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach us deity worship. He came to teach us Nam Sankirtan. Jagyai Sankirtana prayer yajanti hi sumedasa. And one who's intelligent, sumedasa, will take this process. But deity worship also means Om Swastino Govinda Swastino Chutayamanda Swastino Vasudeva Vishnu Dadatu Vishnu. All names of the Lord. Narayana Naro Vaiswasina Padmanabha Purushottamo Dadat. All names of the Lord. It's also kirtan. So chanting Lord's name is also topmost worship. 9 processes of bhakti. This process of chanting Lord's name, Harinam Sankirtan, is topmost. Because this will give us prema. What is the fruit of Krishna Nama? Krishna prema. So Madhyaji, worship Krishna. This is when we're sitting down to chant japa. This is also worship of Krishna, topmost worship. Srila Prabhupada said, simply sitting in front of a picture of Panchatattva and chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra is perfect and complete worship of the Lord and can give you Krishna prema. Such a simple thing. Picture of Panchatattva, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. In due course of time, you can get prema. Then someone may ask, well, why deity worship? Why take so much trouble? Dressing, bathing, feeding, all, waking up, putting to sleep, dresses, and all the different puja samagri. Why? To engage us, to fix our mind. Here he is. Here is the Lord. Otherwise, if you want to offer something to the Lord, if you want to offer flower garland, mala to the Lord, or rasgulla, what will you do? You like toss it in the air. Hey, Bhagavan, catch here. Take flower mala. Here, take rasgulla. And we worship here, Pancharatriki Marg. There's a system to offer something to the Lord. There's a system to bathe the Lord. There's a system to wake the Lord. And this engages our senses and makes the personality of Godhead, the conception of the personality of Godhead concrete in our mind. Here is God. And here's how you worship him. Narad Muni gave this Pancharatriki Marg. Narada Pancharatra. How to worship Krishna. This is Madhyaji. And Namaskuru. Offer your obeisances. Actually, whole Srimad Bhagavatam ends with this. Last verse, Srimad Bhagavatam. Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranama Dukkha Shamanas Tam Namami Harim Param. That chanting of the holy name and offering obeisances to the Lord is the essence of all the Srimad Bhagavatam. The last verse, after 18,000 verses, this verse comes. Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam. Destroys all sins. Pranama Dukkha Shamanas. Offering obeisances to the Lord relieves us of all misery. Surrendering to the Lord relieves us of all misery. Giving up the idea, I'm the controller, I'm the boss, I'm important, I'm doing everything. Kartaham iti manyate. No, you're vimudha. So we bow down to Shastanga, Dandavat Pranam. Lord, I'm yours. In Mayavadis, they say, Aham Brahmasmi. That I am you. Such foolish people. I am you. Tattvamasi, Shivoham, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. All this misunderstanding of Vedic aphorism. So they say, Aham Brahmasmi. What does the devotee say? Aham Tavasmi. I don't want to be you. I want to be yours. Please accept me as your own. Please accept me as your devotee. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram. Patitamam vishame bhavam bodo kripaya tavapada pankaja stita duli saddusham vichintaya. Make me dust at your lotus feet. How have I come here to this horrible material world? Vishame bhavam bodo, of repeated birth and death. Lord is teaching us to beg, please pick me up. Why did I come here? Such a horrible mistake I made. Please pick me up and place me an atom of dust at your lotus feet. This is the process of surrender. So Lord is saying, Sarvadrk purityaja mamekam sharanam, you surrender to me. Aham tvam sarvapapibhyo. Don't worry, don't lament, don't stress. I'm taking care of you. There's a nice story. In America, maybe you've seen Allstate Insurance. They have this advertisement with hands, like this, big hands. Full-page advertisement. And in the hand, there's the house, there's the car, there's the boat, there's the husband, the wife, the kids, the dog house, everything's there, the motorcycle. And the caption is, you're in good hands with Allstate. Srila Prabhupada saw this and said, oh, this is Krishna. You're in good hands with Krishna. This is what it means to become a devotee, to surrender to Krishna, to surrender your life. Krishna, I am yours. I don't want to be you. Aham tavasmi. I belong to you. I'm your property. I'm your dog. This is the process of surrender. And this is what Bhagavad Gita is telling us to do. This is the most confidential knowledge. Not karma yoga. Krishna talked about karma, nishkam karma yoga, jnana yoga, meditation. He spoke many things, all valuable things. Basic knowledge of life. Dehinosminyata dehi komaram jovanam. This is revolutionary idea, actually. In a materialistic society, this is most revolutionary idea. That I'm not my body. I'm something besides matter. I'm eternal. I have a relationship with God. Devotees are most revolutionary people. So Krishna spoke many things, but ultimately this is the essence. Become my devotee, surrender to me. It's for your good. It's not for Krishna. He doesn't need us. Lakshmi sahasra sadasam brahmasedyamanam govindamadi purusham tamaham. He's being worshipped by lakhs and crores of goddesses of fortune, Lakshmis. Does he need your patam pushpam naivedyam? No, he does not. Don't think he needs you. We need him. One time, I was invited to a puja, Indian person's house. Many people came. I was there a little early, actually on time, which means early for most people. So I parked my car in the driveway, and people parked their car behind my car. So I was on a schedule. I was serving as pujari in the temple at that time. And I had to leave at a certain time to get back to wake the deities and offer bhog and arati, everything. So I'm locked in. I have to find the people who parked behind me. So I finally find the guy who parked behind me and said, sir, please, can you move your car? I have to go back and offer puja. He says, you don't need to worship God. I said, sir, that's true. I don't need to. He said, Lord doesn't need your worship. I said, that's true. He doesn't need me, but I need to go. I need to worship him. And this should be our attitude. Krishna doesn't need us. We're insignificant, not even specks of dust in the creation of God. 1/10,000th size of a hair, 2 angstroms in dimension. We're insignificant. Krishna doesn't need us, but he wants us. And we need to serve him. So this is the most essential verse in Bhagavad Gita. You surrender to Krishna, because surrender precludes these other processes of becoming his devotee, thinking of him, being able to offer a basic, heartfelt, unofficially, you're done with done. Heartfelt, I'm surrendering to you. I'm bowing down to you. I'm offering my namaskar to you. Please accept me as your devotee. Everything heartfelt. So to feel like that, we have to surrender. And next point, surrender to whom? Mamekam sharanam. Krishna, me, exclusively. and to devatas, to Krishna. Why do we reject worship of the devatas? They're all devotees. They're all Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. They can bless us in many ways. Why don't we worship them outside of our relationship with Krishna? It's like this. Most of you probably have children, or your children have children. Now, you provide everything for them. You feed them, you clothe them, you educate them, you house them, you keep them warm, you keep them protected. You do everything for your children. How will you feel if your child goes to the neighbors and is knocking on the door? Will you please feed me? How will you feel? You think, I'm giving everything to this kid. Why are they going to the neighbor? In the same way, Krishna is providing everything for us. Why should we go to anyone else? Krishna is giving everything. Why should we go to anyone else? This is why we are distracted by worship of devatas. Mamekam sharanam. Take shelter. Prabhu translates sharanam as surrender. Sharanam also means to take shelter. How can you take shelter with someone if you're not actually surrendered? So ultimately, Bhagavad Gita is teaching us this most important lesson. Every other lesson is subordinate to this. It begins with surrender. When we surrender, then we get everything else. Same thing, actually, 4th chapter. Advidi pranipatina pariprashnena seva upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshana. You want to have a relationship with Krishna, approach his representative. How? Pranipat. Pranipat means prakrishna rupena nipat, complete surrender. The whole key to our progress in spiritual life is surrender. This is such an important verse. But heartfelt surrender. So I'm trying to make this point, trying to emphasize this point, that surrender isn't external. That I put a tilak and I have a kantimala, I go to Mangalarti, I go to the mandir. What is great, we need to. We should also accept the externals of devotional life. But the real, what we say in English, where the rubber meets the road, our real business is internal. Because 90% of our progress in Krishna consciousness is internal. Not about where you sleep at night, what kind of clothes you wear. It's about what is your feeling for God? What is your commitment to the process of awakening your love of God? This is Krishna Bhakti. And it begins here. Sarvadrk. Sarvadrk means ultimately give up everything. Give up varnashram, give up sannyas, give up worship of devatas, give up everything. And just surrender to Krishna. And this is a process of becoming happy. This is a process of going back to Godhead. And this is what we're doing. This is our whole, in a nutshell, this is our whole spiritual life in one verse. Surrender to Krishna and be happy. Krishna is not a cruel taskmaster. Surrender to me. Not like in Christianity, like you accept Jesus Christ or go to hell forever. Not this. Where surrender means surrender in love, in beauty, in joy, in eternality. Leaving aside this horrible, dreadful world where we're struggling just to be healthy, where we struggle just to eat, where we struggle just to pay bills, to be happy in this material world. No more struggle. Yagatana nivartante tad dhamma. You come back to my world, no more struggle, no more surrender. This is sweet surrender, not the surrender that people experience in this world, where they have to surrender to their boss. They hate their boss, but they have to surrender. They have to surrender to the law, even though they think that the law is unfair. They have to surrender to many things they think are unfair and unproductive, but they're obliged to surrender. It's not that kind of surrender. Sweet surrender to Krishna, who's waiting for us. Krishna is waiting for us in Goloka. You simply have to accept the process of surrender. Thank you very kindly for your attention and for the opportunity to speak with you today. Panchakalpatu Vishtakrupa Sindhu Devacha. Patitam Pavanebhyo Vaishnava Namo Namo. Please excuse my health situation. I thought I would be better, but I wasn't. So I'm coughing and so many things. It's been going on for 3 weeks now. No fun.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sarvadrk Prabhu. It was a very wonderful class. Really, you hit the point with a nail on the head. So, what we should take and internalize this point and execute it the rest of the life. And dear devotees,
Any questions? Any devotee has any question?
Yeah.
If we have time,
Yes,
up to you, Prabhuji. I'm simply your servant of Krishna Namananda Prabhu.
Go ahead. Someone has a good. Sudhakar Prabhu. Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
Prabhu, my kids are pressuring me like anything to get a dog. How do I approach this issue in home? They're putting so much pressure on me that they want a dog.
But Prabhu, first thing, according to Vedic culture, dog is untouchable. And what happens? Dog is licking its own rear end with its tongue. Then it comes up to you and licks your face. And many diseases are spread by dogs. My sister almost had her leg amputated because her cat came up and scratched her leg. And she got a very deadly infection from a cat scratch. Now, dogs are very cute, but they pass stool inside your house. They pass urine inside your house, and they get big and they make a mess. And then one day the dog is going to die and your kids will cry. It's different if you live in a farm community where the dog can live outside. But to bring a dog inside the house is a very unclean thing. I mean, you're living with a person who never takes a bath, right? And you have to feed them non-veg food, which means you're implicated in buying the processed body parts of defenseless, gentle creatures like cows that died a horrible death to feed your dog. Because this is dog food. Dog food means ground up dead cows. So better to love cows than dogs. Cows are useful. Even cow stool is useful. Dog stool is untouchable. In villages, they take cow stool and they put it on the floor to make antiseptic, purified atmosphere. But in the spiritual world, you can have a dog. Krishna has a dog also. Did you know? Do you know Krishna's dog's name? Krishna's dog name is Vyagra. Vyagra means tiger. Krishna's dog's name is Tiger. But this is the spiritual world. In the material world, keeping animals inside the house is a very unclean thing. But your decision, Prabhu, you're the dad, and it's your decision. It doesn't set a good precedent in your children's life that they control you. You love them.
Any more questions?
But don't let them blackmail you because of their love for you.
Okay, Prabhu. Karthik, any more questions for Prabhuji? Radhika? Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Okay, good luck. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisance, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Your class is always enlivening. Prabhu, this may be slightly off topic, but I'm hoping you can help me. I have the seva doing the Sunday feast class tonight, and the topic is who is God. Now, if you were to explain to an audience who is not, let's say to an audience of children, not very well versed in terms and shastras, how would you explain to a child who is God?
Are they actually children or just completely inexperienced people?
There are children, and there could be a mixed audience of devotees, children, children, and newcomers.
Two things. What it means to preach is to fold your hands, in my experience, is to fold your hands and think, somehow or other, I've been appointed to give this class. I have no qualification. You should feel, I have no qualification. But somehow or other, I've been appointed to give this class. You fold your hands and you pray, my dear Lord, please inspire me to say something that is beneficial for my audience, to increase their faith in the process of Krishna Bhakti, to encourage them in the process of Krishna Bhakti. This is the most important thing. What you say is secondary, because you may have an idea in your mind that may be completely different than what you're supposed to say, coming from the inspiration of Super Soul. So you fold your hands, you come in front of your deity, and you make prayer. I'm your servant. I'm the servant of these devotees also. Please bless me to say something that will encourage them in their spiritual life, to increase their faith, their enthusiasm for Krishna consciousness. More than that, present Krishna as he is. He's your best friend. Suradam sarvabhutanam, yatva mam shanti amrichiti. You become happy, become peaceful, accepting Krishna as your best friend. He's so loving. Krishna is full of love and affection. He's not this vindictive God. I saw you do that. I saw you make a sin and you're going to go to hell. You have to surrender to me or I'll send you to... It's all bogus. Krishna's most charming, beautiful, friendly person who's simply waiting to bless us and bring us back to his kingdom. Who can be a better friend than Krishna? Who can be a better lover than Krishna? Who can be a better son than Krishna? So all these wonderful relationships, you can become Krishna's son. In Dwarka, you can be Krishna's son. In Vrindavan, you can be the father. You can be part of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Maya's entourage and have Vatsalya Bhav, loving parental affection from the Lord. He's just waiting for our love. This is Krishna. So present him as he is. There's no need to change anything. We just, here he is, take it or leave it. What do you think?
Yes, I definitely appreciate, Prabhu, the mood in which we should share Krishna consciousness. That personally, there is nothing but it's mercy of Guru and the authorities. We have this opportunity, and at the same time presenting it as it is whatever we heard. Not concern, but there are different people in the audience, and typically when we are sharing Krishna consciousness, we need to reach out. So for example, if we speak very high philosophy, a child will just blink, a 10-year-old or a teenager. So something which should keep everyone engaged. So the principles of who is God is already explained, Prabhupada in his books, the Shastras, whatever we've learned. But then how do you connect people and keep them engaged rather than just glazing over?
Prabhu's Sunday feast lecture is a tough lecture to give because, as you've observed, there's devotees that have been practicing Krishna Bhakti for 15 to 20 years that have heard it all. And there's brand new people that have come to the temple for the first time. There's young people, there's kids. How to please everybody? It's a tough call. Sunday feast lecture is a tough lecture to give. But I know you're a very nice devotee. You're sincere, and Krishna will give you all intelligence on what to say.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind words, Prabhu. Please bless me. Thank you so much.
Tathastu, be blessed.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
We say this, Mukam Karati Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yakripatam Ham Bande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. A blind man can see the stars, a lame man can cross the ocean, and a dumb man can speak learned words. So we're blind, lame, and dumb except for the mercy of God and Guru. So remember that verse and sit down and start speaking. Krishna will give you all help.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Anyone else has questions?
Prabhuji, I had a quick comment. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam.
Haribo Sachi Mata Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, thank you so much for giving the class in this condition, like of coughing also. It's so inspiring in itself, your mood of serving, and you're not feeling well, still you are here for, Prabhupada and us. I really like the example that you gave of a child going to the neighbor. So this can be really used for us, when we tell people not to worship the demigods, it can be quoted, I really liked it. So I just wanted to thank you for that. It makes everything so clear. Otherwise you get into arguments, with people trying to like use different like philosophy. This is a very easy, a simple way to explain to others why demigods should not be worshipped. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
We should respect them.
Yes.
And we should, this is a whole nother class, worship the demigods. Because, I mean, we're just on Parikrama today. And Kshetrapal Shiva is there in Vrindavan, here in Mayapur. Harihar Kshetra is here in Mayapur. So we have all regard for demigods, but we don't worship them. We hope they will bless us in our progress of spiritual life, but we don't worship them. And if it's an argument with people, forget it. Just don't argue with people. It's a waste of time.
Yes, sure.
And that's my experience anyway.
Yes, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Jagdish Prabhu, Jagdish Simha Prabhu, you have your hand up.
Yeah. Prabhu, Dhanwad Pranam, all Gurus to Prabhu, all glories to you, my humble obeisances in your Prabhu. Prabhu, I have one question. During the book distribution, I come across one of the door-to-door book distribution, and one gentleman opened the door, and immediately the moment we tried to give him Bhagavad Gita, and before the taking, he said, "I'm Muslim. I don't want to take the Bhagavad Gita." I told this Bhagavad Gita not talking about any religion, and please just try to read it. It's talking about the 5 topic, which is not the based on the religion, like the nature, the time, and the soul, per soul 5. And this not talking about anywhere the Hinduism. It's just this is a different way. And he took the pause for a few seconds and he said, "No, I determined I don't want to take it."
That's right. He held the book. He's come in contact with Bhagavad Gita. He's very fortunate. He held Bhagavad. Holding Bhagavad Gita is like holding Murti. What is Bhagavad Gita? It's an incarnation of the Lord in paper and ink. These are Lord's words, not different from Krishna. Bhagavad Gita, we can worship Bhagavad Gita with 16 upachars, with Tulsi and Arati. It's not different from the deity, and he held the deity. So all glories to your service, Prabhu. But the same thing, don't waste time with these fanatical people. Muslims are #1 fanatical, and to put it bluntly, violent people. I'm not making a class judgment. There's many very pious Muslims also. But anyway, that's this controversial topic. I don't mean to fight with people, but judge a man for what he is.
So is there the better way to justify, or better just say Hare Krishna and then leave? Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, because you could be, instead of spending time arguing with people, you could be talking to someone who wants to hear what you have to say. Srila Jiva Goswami said there's 3 kinds of arguments. Vada means when you disagree, but conjointly and in the mood of respect and hearing what the other person has to say, you examine the subject. Vitanda means a name-calling, shouting match. And Jalpa means you're listening to the person, but you're not actually hearing what he has to say. You're only trying to find the defect in his argument. Vitanda and Jalpa are rejected. If someone wants to actually discuss religion with you in a respectful way, they present their point of view respectfully. You listen, you present your point of view, and they listen. We can speak like this all day. But if it's an argument, don't waste time. You just become disturbed, you waste time, become angry perhaps. It's a waste of time. Find someone who wants to hear what you have to say. We have the most precious gems. Even Jesus Christ used to say, "Don't cast your pearls before swine. Don't offer pearls to pigs." Find someone who wants to hear, who respects you, who wants to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, thank you so much, bro.
Okay, we will conclude.
Yes.
Like no other questions.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you so
Srila
much.
Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad
Jai.
Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Jai Gaur. Jai Gaur.
Thank you.
Hari Hari Bol. Sarvadrk Prabhu ki jai.
Thank you so much.
Quick announcements. Monday is Ekadasi, fasting from grains and beans. December 25th is Christmas. Also, Jiva Goswami's disappearance day. January 2nd is also important Ekadasi, Putrada Ekadasi / Vaikunta Ekadasi. Please don't note down. See you all today evening at Sunday Feast program. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada Jai.
Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji. Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.